Hello and welcome to another one of those Tinto Talk videos where I have a look at the things coming in this game that we're all incredibly hyped about, Europa Universalis 5, that comes out on the 4th of November. I'm getting to this one a little bit late because I was kind of grinding on trying to get out the Wales AAR that is now completed and finished, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. And yeah, now I can get back to some regularly scheduled looking at Tinto Talk stuff. Starting with this one, which is not about actually countries like this, but it's about the flags that are going to come in this game and the kind of really interesting and innovative and kind of insane way that the game is going to handle flags. So, let us get into the very first of our Tinto flags. I will say they're, because of the, short amount of time between now and release, there's only going to be 4 of these Tinto flag posts, as confirmed by St. Dave. So just bear in mind that we don't have a lot. We've got Iberia first. Next week we're going to be getting Great Britain, which I'm obviously kind of super hyped about because there are some flags there that I quite enjoy. My guesses are going to be France for the 3rd and Germany for the 4th, would be my guess. I think France as the 3rd is kind of a shoe-in, to be honest. And Germany, I just feel like there's enough flags in that kind of area to really show a lot. But anyway, if you're interested in these kinds of videos where I have a look at the various things inside EU5 with the Tinto Talks, then feel free to click the subscribe button. If you want to help me out, then there is a link in the description and pinned comment where you can use my affiliate link to purchase EU5. You get a Steam key and I get a cut of the sale, so it's a great way to help me out if you so desire. But let us have a look at the flags of Iberia. And first of all, a little preamble about how they do the flags. So, they put a lot of effort into the flags of EU5, and they've heard that the fans are hungry for more information. I mean, that's obviously true. That is always going to be true. With the sheer amount of cultures and granular depth that EU5 covers the vast 500-year time period with, in some cases, seemingly infinite historical resources, and in some cases, barely anything at all, it's the biggest flags assignment that Paradox has ever undertaken. In fact, I don't think it's an understatement to say that this is one of the largest commercial flag-related projects ever undertaken. That's a claim. That is definitely a claim. Our flag researcher is an expert in the field of academic heraldry who has been working with Paradox for several years now. They're a trained historian with a master's degree in medieval heraldry and proto-heraldry, and with that incredible background, they've been able to provide EU5 with a scientific approach to the research of flags and coat of arms to a level that few people in the world could. And it's not just sniffing out historical designs. EU5 is a game of near infinite possibilities, and players are naturally interested in realizing certain old history fantasies. Having a deep understanding of historical vexillology means that even fictional designs can be created that feel authentic to the heraldry of the world in this era. This, I think, is very important because if we look at other games, right? EU4 is a great example to start with. There are a lot of old history scenarios that do give you some flags that change in EU4, and I'm talking specifically of the revolution mechanics. It's every single country gets a different flag when they become the revolutionary target or become revolutionary in general, and it's always like a tricolor. Some countries get scripted tricolors to make sure that this is the one that they use, and some countries get them randomly generated based on the colors of the country that they are. Each country has a certain amount of colors that are assigned to them, and it will generate a revolutionary flag based on that. And in almost all cases, these randomly generated ones just look awful. They really are bad. And in one certain case, the British one, the specifically scripted Republican revolutionary flag is absolutely atrocious and hateful, and you never want to form it. But that's one place where flags can come in, but there are other there's so many different areas where a country's flag will change based on a new dynasty coming through, whether it becomes a kingdom or a republic if it's swapping between them, and not all of those elements are represented. And also just having somebody who is this experienced in vexillology, in medieval heraldry and stuff, I feel like that would have been very, very useful in games like Imperator Rome, where there was a lot of flags for countries that obviously didn't use flags in the way that we understand them today, so something had to be created and generated and made up for them, and it left a lot of the world feeling incredibly samey, because all the flags just kind of was paint by numbers. Here's a different version of a thing to just do. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. But now I think this is really, really good to see. Really good to see. We've also found that upon original research, we uncover the pop history expectation is just wrong, or that there is a more correct option lurking in the clues offered by historical records. In this case, we've erred on the side of historicity. We understand that Paradox games are important entry points into the fascinating world of flags, and also that they have historically influenced the popular history of flags to a certain degree. As such, we believe that EU5 has a responsibility to challenge preconceptions and offer updated understanding of history, and that we should not simply amplify old mistakes. However, some exceptions are made, like in the case of the White Hand of Saruhan even. Yeah, obviously it's a Lord of the Rings reference, White Hand of Saruman, and now Saruhan has the White Hand. It's a reference, and it's cool, and I'm glad that they didn't change it, for sure. None of this is to say that EU5 is the ultimate historical compendium of flags. A lot of flags are a case of reading between the lines or working backwards from modern records. Sometimes you also have to take gameplay into consideration. To take one of the many examples, the Teutonic Order and Cologne historically had identical blazons, so we simply pick a slightly less accurate example for clarity's sake. So they have the Cologne flag, and this is what you have in the game. Historically, the Teutonic Order's flag, which is identical, and now the Grandmaster, the Teutonic Order flag, is the one that they use in-game. I am curious, right? If we open this image in new tab, this says Cologne Cross, KOL Cross. If I open this one, they just use the same image. I mean, it is the same image, but it's funny that, it's literally the same PNG that they just posted twice. It's very funny. Anyway. Of course, every asset and component is bespoke and painstakingly drawn illustration, because just copying from online resources is never an option, even if it's valid. Not just for copyright reasons, we also want to stamp our own art style, our own drawings that are custom made to match with the unique look of EU5. So, Iberia, without further ado, that's how you spell ado? Anyway, we start off by showing the various flags of Iberia, which serve as a good example to show how the system works. Bear in mind that very few regions match the variety offered by Iberia. Critics will say this is just because our studio is based in Barcelona, and maybe it's a little bit of that, but mainly because the historical basis of the Spanish arms offers so many options for variation. So, the 5 main kingdoms of the starting year, we have Castile. This is the flag that we know from EU4. I think this is exactly what they had in EU4. They have, if you end up with a Leonese overlord, you lose the right to use their flag. So these are obviously Leonese flags, and you can just have the Castile, Castle Castile, makes sense. In imitation of the real Spain, Castile would get this white variant and becoming an absolute monarchy, something that can't happen until the age of absolutism. Very nice. Upon becoming a republic, Castile will adopt the flag, which is based on the merchant flag, and the Castilian Revolutionary Republic uses the flag without any additional elements. So, Castile gets 5 flags. That's it, is it? That would be enough for any other game. But we'll move on. We have Aragon. You can have the famous Senyera. Never heard of that name before. It's one of the oldest flags still in use. I believe Denmark has the record for this one, actually. If Aragon becomes a republic, you get this white cross in the center, age of absolutism, and if they have American colonies, then Aragon uses the Iberian trend of switching to a white flag with coat of arms, and then the absolute monarchy adopts a greater flag, including the, pretty sure this is the Corsican flag, which is, yeah, fair enough, we'll move on from that. Navarra has the famous chains that Navarra starts with, most likely developed from an escarbuncle charge, but the legend is that it was inspired by the chains of slave soldiers of the Caliph at the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa. If Navarra gets a male ruler of the Capetian dynasty, they'll adopt the fleurs. I think that's cool, right? Oh, we've just gotten this dynasty, flag change. And I feel like this is going to be a case of people aren't going to know these things are going to happen when they're playing the game until it just randomly happens to them. And then they're like, oh, why is my flag changed? And then they'll go to Reddit or they'll go to the forums and they'll post like, what? Why is my flag like this? And then somebody will have to go into the game files to say, oh, it happened because this, that, and the other. If they get a ruler of the Aragonese dynasty, they adopt this flag, which is, I don't like it, but whatever. And then the Republic gets this, which is awful. I don't like that at all. But we move on to Portugal. Basic 14th century flag that Portugal begins with. As the Renaissance dawns, which is not very far into the game, they change the flag immediately to have the green fleurs on here. Lose the castles and roundels as they enter the Age of Discovery, but then the shields go the right way up. This flag changes based on the era, just straight up. In the Age of Absolutism, you gain the flag that looks pretty similar to the modern one. Absolute Monarch loses the blue. Absolute Monarch with colonies in America and Africa will adopt the armillary sphere. Early Republican Portugal takes this flag. A republic with American and African colonies will have this flag. We finally have the modern flag, or at least I'm pretty sure that's, unless it's like something completely, oh yeah, it's just a modern flag. Age of Absolutism onwards, Portuguese Republic uses that. In the unlikely event of Portugal becoming a theocracy, they have the Order of Christ symbol on there. And if the theocracy becomes Gyroni, I've never heard of that term before, if it has overseas colonies, then you get this flag. Was this necessary for a Portugal? Like, damn, that is a lot of flags for just one country. But also, that's not all Portugal gets. Catalonia. It exists as a releasable country in 1337. This one is technically just the flag of Barcelona city. Flag appears in the Catalan Atlas. It's the Serenia quartered with the cross of St. Jordi, the patron saint of Catalonia. I mean, the flag of St. Jordi, flag of St. George, St. George's cross, England flag, also Genoa, and also, I think, Georgia has as well, but they add extra things into it. If you move your capital to the beautiful, productive, exciting, sun-drenched, cosmopolitan, sculptured, ocean-kissing, delightfully paradoxical location of Sitges, then you will initiate your world conquest under the glorious Sitgetian flag. This is Paradox's, home base. This is where they make these games from. It's where we visited when we visited Sitges to go and have a look at EU5 back in February, March. This is that's where we were. And so funny enough, there was another actually, can I even say that? I think no, I'm gonna leave it. Don't worry about it. Never mind, moving on. Leon. Kingdom of Leon does not start on the map, but can be released by Castile. The basic component is the purple lion. It comes from Legion, not from Lion. Leon. Okay, fair enough. Didn't know that. If you manage to flip the situation and rule over Castile, you'll get the familiar flag, but the dominant position is now for Leon. Fictional revolutionary tricolor of Leon. As far as tricolors go, it's not the worst, but, I mean... not a fan of it. Anyway, we have Spain formables as well, and this is where this gets a little bit insane. The Christians may form a new country, Spain, and in fact, you cannot form Spain if there are any Muslim countries existing inside Iberia at all, right? Even if the capital can be in, Morocco, but if they have one location, you cannot form Spain. The default flag is, of course, based on the historical Catholic King's banner, but how it might look if Aragon or Catalonia come to be in the eminent power on the peninsula. Generally speaking, in European heraldry, the top left corner is reserved for the most senior arms. Replicate the tradition in EU5 using the top left corner to indicate the country that forms Spain. So Castilian Spain, where Aragon and Portugal remain independent, looks like this. So it's just Castile and Navarra. If they take Granada, they get a little doodad on the bottom. Castile led without Portugal, this one with Granada. Castile led with ownership of Aragon and Sicily. This one was historically used by the so-called Catholic monarchs between 1475 and 1492. Also happens to be the basis for the EU4 flag of the Spanish Formable. Castile led with ownership of Aragon and Sicily and Granada. This one was historically used by the Catholic monarchs from 1492 to 1504, and the Granadan element was added in celebration of the recent conquest. Castile led with Aragon and Navarra and Granada, with Aragon, Sicily, and Navarra and Granada, with only Portugal and Granada. You get the gist here. Navarra joins the party. Granada. The same as above, but Navarra is more dominant, and also when the French Basque country is owned. Castile led Spain with Aragon and Portugal. No Navarra, Granada, or Aragon to speak of. Granada joins, though. It's always just a bit of Granada. But yeah, I don't feel I need to read these. I mean, we'll look at the pretty flags. I think these look cool. I think of these, honestly, probably this one looks the best. Just don't hold Sicily, otherwise you kind of ruin it with this thing. If this was, if you own Sicily but with no Aragon, it'd be nice if this flag was just like not squished. But either way, looking though at Aragonese Spain, because why not? We'll have that version as well with the Aragonese Serenia. I forgot the name of it. It's something like that. On the top left because seniority. Spain formed without Aragon. Oh, sorry, by Aragon. I was like, what? This whole thing was about Aragonese Spain. Yeah, Spain formed by Aragon with Sicily, basic variant with Navarre and Castile, etc., etc. Granada is not just in the bottom. Well, it is now, but if it's Aragon, Castile, and Granada, then Granada gets its own place. But then if it's got Sicily as well, then you're relegated down here. Look, I have a favorite one of these. We're going to get to it. There is one flag that I think above all others is just so cool that I really want to try and form it just for this. But moving on to Navarre, Spain. We're getting close to my favorite one. So Navarrese have the flags top left, bottom right. If they have Capetian dynasty, obviously they get the fleurs as well. It gets very, very busy because of course it does. Yeah. Moving through them, obviously the Granada in the bottom there is a given as well. Portuguese Spain looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of got the vibe going quite nicely. Granadan variant with the Portuguese with the earlier flag, and then Portuguese with the Renaissance flag. It's like, sorry, this one is the later flag. This one is the Renaissance flag. But having both of them there is yeah, a little busy, a little straight. Like the whole thing is just a bunch of really busy flags. But if you have a minor forming Spain, like for example Leon forming Spain, you get various different flags here as well. If Andorra forms Spain, like Andorra's not even in EU4, it's too bloody small. But if Andorra forms Spain, then you get another flag here. If Mallorca forms Spain, you get that one as well. Formed by Valencia, you get whatever that building is just absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what that is, but I love it. With Sicily and Navarre too, when it's complete. If it's formed by Catalonia, if it's formed by Galicia, that one's pretty nice. And then we get more flags for the colonial empire. If you're in age 4 and you have a vast colonial empire, you'll use this flag. It's historically tied to the Burgundian dynasty, however the chain of events that lead to this flag being used are very unlikely to happen. Yet it's far too identifiable and synonymous with the Spanish Empire to ignore, so you get it if you have a vast colonial empire. If you're Portuguese with a vast colonial empire, you get the shields on there. And we have my favorite flag, the Navarrese colonial empire. I want to play Navarre, and I think this is still Spain, though. I think you have to form Spain for this. So Navarre into Spain with a colonial empire, age 4, you'll get this flag. And I don't know, this slaps. This flag looks absolutely great. Aragonese will get yellow and red. Leonese will get white and purple. Love that, actually. That looks great. Absolute monarchies, you get the coat of arms here. This one looks real nice as well. If you're Portuguese, you get the Portuguese shield in the center. Aragon, you get this one in the center. And Navarran formed Spain, absolute monarchy, gets this one. Looks great. But we're not done, because of course we're not. If you have the Spanish Republic, you get this flag here, the ensign from 1785. The flag of the First Spanish Republic was based on this. Simple tricolor if they form as a revolutionary republic. And the Second Republic flag, as beautiful as it is, forms only if Leonese is the primary culture. And yeah, that's a lot of flags. And like I said, next week is Great Britain. I am going to assume that the week after that is going to be France. That's just my guess. I think either Germany or Italy is likely for week 4 as well. But there are some comments to have a look at as well. Starting with this one, people asking about Andalusia. Where's Granada? What about Al-Andalus? So there are fewer flags for them. Granada is with the Arabic inscription that translates to "there is no victor but God" right there. And then some variants if ruled by Christians. I'm assuming Castile This one's obviously Aragon, and this one might just be Portugal, I would imagine. I'm not sure. The Al-Andalus Formable looks awful. I hate this flag. Look, if you're going to play chess on a flag, then, you know, green and white? No. That's not my vibe. This one, though, that looks okay. So if you're going to form Al-Andalus, have it ruled by the Nazarids for sure. Moving on, though, a bonus one that didn't get finished in time for the dev diary is some more historical dynasty coats of arms. So obviously, dynasties have flags as well. So here are some of those. Which one is your favorite? For me, personally, I like the Sanchez de Castilla one. This one looks really nice. The rest of them, either too busy or... Actually, I think you're probably the busiest one, and I quite like you. Guzman Oliveres. I'm pretty sure these bits on the side are Brittany, so I don't know where the hell that comes from, but... Cool. Love that. I kind of wish you'd also took a dip into showing historical dynasties' coat of arms. Actually, that's what we just saw. Wonder how you got the images. Does EU5 have its own coat of arms editor in the modding tools to be a great help to modders to know how to make flags? So flags work almost identically to how they work in Victoria 3, so manually scripted designs that are then triggered with event script. And the way that they got posted, and obviously here you go, you can see a bunch of bloody American flags there as well. He used a console command, or he created the functionality for a console command COA export to dump all of the flags in the game into a folder in your documents. Yes, I have done this. I'm not obviously going to share the folder, because that would be NDA breaking, but there's a lot of flags. There's a lot of flags in this game. Yes, it goes into 4 figures. The number of flags is in the 4-figure range. And it's not in the 1,000 range either. There's a lot of flags. There's a lot of flags in this game. This isn't even all of the American ones as well. There is another bunch that is just the blue part, the blue with the stars. And I believe that is so you can have USA formed by other nations and have the blue stars on some other, you know, not red and white stripes. I'm not sure how you form it. Obviously, I'm not looking into the code for that, but I've seen more than just these. Also, the script for how they're here as well. I guess how you mod them. So he was asking if you can mod the Portuguese variant to have a blue cross of burgundy rather than the default red, and you can just change red mid to blue here. So this is just, I don't know, if you're into modding, this probably makes a bunch of sense to you. I mean, I'm not. Finally, though, scripting for the USA is work in progress, but they'll make it count the number of areas that have a core of the USA. That, of course, being in regard to all of these flags, there's 1 star for every state. This does go higher than this as well. I believe the smallest one I've seen is the USA flag with I think it's probably 13 stars in the circle, and then it goes on from there. But either way, that's it. That's all I have for you today. That's the flags. Let's get my favorite flag up on screen. There we go. Thank you all very much for watching. I have another video to make that will come out probably tomorrow, where we're having a look at the disasters in EU5, the revolution disaster, and we get to see Napoleon Bonaparte. So that's going to be fun. Hopefully I'll get that one out tomorrow. I also have made a little bit of effort in starting my next AAR. I'm not going to tell you who I'm playing, but I hope you're going to enjoy it. It should be a fun one, and we'll get that sorted as well. So if you're interested in either of those things, hit the subscribe button. They're going to be coming out soon, TM. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.